Welcome to the Uzziah Show, where being young, black, and successful is celebrated. I am your host, Uzziah, your success strategist. And if you have any questions about your business, career, or finances, then this is the show for you. Welcome, y'all. I am so excited because today we're going to talk about Will Smith. Why is it that Will Smith is successful in business, but not in love? We're going to get into that. We're going to have some real talk. And all I want y'all to do is kick your feet up and relax, because tonight we are going in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of y'all that are watching this show for the very first time, my name is Uzziah. I'm a professional business consultant, and my job is to help you get out of debt so you can start your own business. But every now and then we talk about certain topics that are indirectly related to how you will be successful. And tonight is one of those talks. So if y'all are just now joining, please make sure that you leave me a comment. Let me know who you are and where you're from so that I can show you some love. Now, I want to give a big shout out to my brother, Yasha Allah. Thank you so much, my brother, for the $20 super chat. Always showing love as a top sponsor on this channel. Listen, y'all can't be selfish. Y'all got to spread the word about this channel, y'all. Y'all know that we are on a mission right now to get to 10,000 subscribers. So if you love this channel and you love what this platform is about, then please spread the word. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because once we reach 10,000 subs, that's when the Black Men's Career clothing line is going on social media. That's right. The shirts, the hoodies, everything else, it's all coming online. So make sure that y'all subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you can be alerted every time I do a new show. Now, as always, with every show, I strive to give y'all as much value as possible. If y'all missed out yesterday, I don't know what to tell you, man. We went in last night. Gave you a step by step rundown on how to make the transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And tonight we're going to talk about a lot as well. So, as with every episode, I'm going to give you all as much free game as possible to help you become the best version of yourself. All I ask for you in return is to smash that like button. Please smash the like button because that'll tell YouTube to send this message out to more people. And also, if you love what this platform is about, then please donate. All you got to do is just tap the super chat icon directly below the live chat box, and that will help to keep the show going. Okay. So let's get into this topic, y'all. I know that's the reason why you're here. I know you're not here to hear me talk about all of the house rules, even though I got to go through that on every show. Y'all are here because you want to know why Will Smith is successful in business but not in love. So let's talk about it. Now, there was recently an article that went out about Will Smith and his latest GQ release. He's gearing up for a new memoir as well as a GQ photo shoot. And one of the things that he did in that photo shoot with GQ was talk a little bit about the red table talk that happened last year, where his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, was discussing her entanglement. I know all of y'all know about that dirty laundry that was aired out in front of the world. And the reason why I'm sharing this on tonight's show is because some of this stuff might apply to you. Some of you guys may think that just because a person is successful in one area, that means they'll be successful in another. But today I really want to outline the reasons why I believe Will Smith is successful in business but not in love. And I want to get y'all's commentary also. Leave me a comment and let me know what your thoughts are on Will and Jada's marriage. Some of y'all might think that he's successful across the board. But tonight, I'm going to talk about why I feel that he's successful in business, but not in love. There's no wrong answers. I just want to get y'all's feedback. Leave me a comment below. Okay. So let's talk about this. I think one of the most important things for you to understand is that people are just naturally good at different things. I think that this message is so simple, it's going to go over a lot of people's heads because the sooner you realize this, the more you will lock into your strength because that will help you determine your path of success in life. Not everybody is good at the same things. You know, some people are good at relationships naturally, some people suck at it. Some people are naturally good at making money, while others struggle. In life, everybody has different gifts. And I think one of the things that we have to focus on is identifying what our natural strengths are so that way we can double down on them and stay away from our weaknesses. Now, I know a lot of guys will get out there and tell you, yeah, you know, you need to identify your weaknesses and you need to work on fixing them. But the most successful people in this world understand that you don't have enough time in one life to focus on everything. If you're going to operate at world class performance, you need to focus on your natural strengths because when you take your natural strengths, you can go from good to great. But when you focus only on your weakness, you might be stuck at average at best. So I want us to just examine Will and Jada as a case study of what things we should do and what things we should not do in order to get to the next level. A lot of people want it all. A lot of people think, you know, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to have this great marriage. I'm going to have this great family. And a lot of that is very fairy tale. It's not always lined up with real life. Chances are you will be exceptional if you put your mind to one thing. Other things you can have, but you might not be a smash hit. Let me start checking these comments. Where are y'all at? I want to see your thoughts. Why do y'all think that Will Smith is successful in business but not in marriage? I want to get y'all's comments. Leave me your name. Let me know where you're from. I want to shout y'all out and show y'all some love. And if y'all want to talk, like really talk about this topic, then cam up, man. Cam up, because I think this is something that needs to be discussed. Now, the reason why we are talking about this topic on today's show is because I want us to look at a relationship that all of us are aware of. I could bring up a billion different scenarios, but everybody might not understand what I'm talking about. So, the reason why we're talking about this tonight is because we can take information from something that we all understand, and then we can apply it to our lives to help us get to the next level of results. The truth is, different people are good at different things. And I honestly believe that women and success are two different things. Now, I got some evidence for y'all on this. I'm going to give y'all multiple examples. Women and success are two different things. And I believe that Will Smith, before he got into this marriage, he had a much greater understanding of success in business than he did success in relationships. Y'all know that this marriage with Jada that he has, this wasn't even his first go around in marriage. He already had a relationship going with another woman prior to this, which is why he had his son Trey. So sometimes people might be exceptional in movies, but then when it comes to their personal lives, they don't have that same success. We got to find what works for us and what doesn't, so that way our failures aren't as highlighted as the things that y'all see in these news articles. Okay. I think that Will just didn't have the same coaching on how to be successful in marriage as he had when it came to the secrets of success in business. Those are two totally different schools of thought, guys. And tonight, I'm going to outline the difference between the two. As a brother that's been married for almost 10 years, I can tell y'all that the way that I approach relationships versus the way that I approach business is two totally different planets. And I want you to understand the two differences so that you don't try to mix the two together. Now, one statement that I'm going to make off top is that just because you're successful doesn't mean that you're going to succeed in your marriage. Look at guys like Jeff Bezos, Robert De Niro, Bill Gates, Dr. Dre, Will Smith. All of these guys are multi-millionaires, if not billion-dollar artists. And they all have gone through their own marital struggles as far as divorce, because money does not translate into marriage and success. I know a lot of y'all brothers are out there thinking, man, as long as I get to the money, then my relationships will come. But the money is only something that makes you attractive in the short term. These guys are sitting on billions of dollars and they are going through issues in their marriage. They've got wives that are trying to divorce them right now and walk away with half. So money is not a guarantee that the rest of your life will be perfect. Okay. I'm going to take a quick second though, because I gotta shout out my brother Native Arraign. Thank you so much, my brother, for the $50 super chat. Definitely got to give my brother a round of applause on that. Listen, man, I'm going to step out on a limb right now for this brother. I'm going to add you to my new coaching program, Your Breakthrough Year. Native Arraign, I really appreciate all of your support, my brother. And I'm always big on whenever y'all pour into me, I pour into you. So not only am I giving you access to the Maximum Productivity Masterclass, I'm also going to give you free monthly membership into my 12-month coaching program called Your Breakthrough Year. Just on the strength of the support that you always give to me, my brother, I'm going to hold you down with that right now. So thank you so much for all of your support. I always tell y'all, whenever y'all donate to this platform, it's not in vain. When y'all look out for me, I'm going to look out for y'all. That's why I appreciate and love y'all as top sponsors. Now, Yasha Allah says, Will doesn't let his personal affairs interfere with his grind. Now, I do got to say that. You know, most brothers, they would have got thrown off they pivot a long time ago. Most brothers could not have juggled the type of like marital situations that they go through with their wives on top of staying focused on their mission. And I can say that the brother still manages to be in these movies. He still manages to hold it down on social media, even though he may have other parts of his life that are in shambles. And I do think that we can all take something valuable away from that, because a lot of us as young Black men end up ruining our career paths because of how distracted we become in our relationships. So excellent point. More on that later. I want y'all to leave me some more comments, because what Yasha Allah just said is something that I want to see from y'all in terms of, what do y'all think about Will and Jada's marriage? Do y'all think it's a train wreck? Do y'all think that he's on to something? Do y'all think that his marriage actually helps him become more successful or less successful? I want to get y'all's thoughts. Make sure that y'all smash that like button, and make sure that y'all bring forth these super chats, just like Native Arraign did with that $50 super chat, because you never know how I might look out for you in response. So when we talk about the difference between business and relationships, I want to talk about how Will Smith's talent and work ethic took him very far. Now, Will Smith, just like many of us, are very talented. But the reason why Will Smith is in the top 1% of the industry is because he didn't just rely on talent alone. He took the talent that God gave him and he coupled that with tens of thousands of hours of training. The brother has an obsessive work ethic, and I think that that has served him well in shows and movies. He's obviously a box office hit. You know, there's not a bigger name that you could think of in the movie industry outside of Will Smith. The brother is world class, and we got to acknowledge that no matter how you feel about his relationship decisions. I think that his talent and work ethic took him far in business. But then he stepped into romance and he started looking at different factors. Prime example, Jada is a very pretty woman, especially when she was in her prime. Y'all cannot take that away. As wild as she might be in these streets, Jada Pinkett Smith was really a dime. And so I think that Will, like a lot of brothers, was so caught up in just the face and the body that he overlooked the values that she brought to the table. One of the things that separated Will's decision making in business versus romance is Jada's values were not aligned with Will's. When y'all start to read their stories, and he's got a book coming out, Will grew up in a traditional Christian household whereas Jada grew up where things were a lot more unconventional. And so, even when he talked about marriage, he talks about how he was raised to value a traditional marriage. This is something that he always wanted. But for some reason, he picked Jada as a spouse, even though Jada never believed in conventional marriage. Will and Jada have both talked about how she was never that type of woman that was going to be that traditional wife and traditional mom. That's the reason why you not only see some of the problems they have in their marriage, you see how things are so different with their kids. Y'all know they kids is different. Y'all know that Jaden is different, and y'all know that Willow is different. You know, Jaden had a certain kind of energy when he was a young boy and he was in Pursuit of Happiness and Karate Kid. But once he got older, you started to see how all of that unconventional lifestyle started to take over. And so I want y'all to see how when Will focused on his talent and work ethic, that got him somewhere professionally. But then when he switched gears in terms of romance, a lot of his same focus on principles went right out the window. See, business values discipline and consistency, but love always changes because women are driven by emotions. So, whenever you talk about the subject of love in general, that's never going to be a constant thing. But we could talk about getting to this money and the things that you do to get to the money. That's just a continual process over and over, day in and day out to get results. I want y'all to think about McDonald's right now, just as a side note. McDonald's makes billions of dollars by making the same hamburger and fries day in and day out all around the world. Their process is very boring but effective. But when you're talking about having a relationship, a lot of people don't like boring in love. They want spontaneity. They want to keep the flame going. They want to keep it spicy. And so, even though Will is very consistent in one area, the same consistent disciplines that he applied in business did not make him as successful in love. That's why we need to understand the difference in how the game is played. Now, shout out to my sister, LA for Life. She said that she made it on time tonight. Thank you so much. And you said that you love the email notifications. By the way, thank you so much. Hi to my lovely wife too. Yes, yes. Shout out to Sister Ariel. You know, Sister Ariel, she's doing some prep work around the household. So I don't know if she's going to be able to join us for tonight's broadcast. Shout out to Mr. Black Culture. I'm seeing some new faces in here. And I really appreciate it because we sure could use some more attendance in the house, guys. We do this show 6 days a week from Sunday all the way through Friday at 7 p.m. Central. Please don't be selfish, y'all. Spread the word. We need to get more of our people on here having the right discussions. And there's no reason why we don't have more access to all of the knowledge that's on this platform. So if y'all love this channel and you love what it's about, make sure that you smash that like button and make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you could be alerted every time I go live with another show. Now, one thing that LA for Life said is Will told Jada no cussing in the house. Again, Will was a lot more traditional, whereas Jada is a lot more unconventional, let's say. And whenever you bring an unconventional person into your house, you can't expect to have traditional values. This is the reason why I always tell y'all about how you got to bring the Most High into everything that you do. When you read in the book of Proverbs, it tells us that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked seduceth him. Meaning, you could have pure intentions all day, but you're only going to go as far as the people you keep around you. So even if you want to live by a certain set of values, you're going to be influenced by the people that are in your house. So I think that Will was very awesome when it came to his discipline and consistency professionally. I mean, think about it. He is so laser focused in business that even if Jada ends up putting their business on Front Street to the point where it embarrasses him, he's still on top with these movies. He's still on top with these shows. He's still getting photo shoots. Like, the brother don't miss. When it comes to that media game, the brother don't miss. And he's been doing it for such a long time consistently, whether we're talking about him and his music, whether we're talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, the brother has been so consistent for so many years. I honestly think that it's harder for him to fall off than it is for him to just stay on track. So I want us to think about what Yasha Allah said again for you brothers that are joining. He said, Will doesn't let his personal affairs interfere with his grind. For a lot of us as Black men and women, the very first sign of drama in your relationship will make you lose all of your focus. You'll give up on your business. You'll lose your job. We'll have such a way of getting caught off guard. Now, LA for Life is saying he told her they would not argue or yell, but will communicate respectfully. He had to refine Jada. She was a Baltimore hood girl. Those are facts. But see, I think that Will could have made a much different decision in his choice of marriage, because when you take a woman in marriage, that refining process needs to be over on some level. What I mean is, when you as a successful Black man look for a partner in marriage, you don't need to be trying to take a person and turn them into somebody else. Your job is to guide them, but you're only guiding them based upon a positive path that they're already on. When it came to me getting into my marriage with Ariel, I didn't take her from nothing and turn her into something. She was already something before I married her. I just fine tune along the way. But I think for a lot of brothers like Will and others, they think that just because their wife is pretty or because they got body, they can overlook a lot of the problems and just focus on the physical side of things. Listen, y'all, marriage is a lot different than a one night stand. Y'all know, with me being in my spiritual life, I don't promote one night stands and dating. The Bible only talks about husband and wife. But for those of y'all that have lived that life, as we all have, there is a big difference between when you are in a marriage, having a partner with for a lifetime, versus somebody that you're just enjoying a moment of fun with. The way that Jada be rolling about a lot of subjects, she's never the type of woman that you would settle down with for life, because y'all see this quote that's out there now. There's this quote that's flying around the internet talking about uh never let your husband get in the way of finding the love of your life. I don't know if she actually said that. I think the internet is just trolling, but that really speaks to her energy in general. And that's not the type of person that you spend your entire life with. Now, I don't know why, after all of this, Will and Jada are still together. I don't understand that, honestly, because if they're going to have an open relationship where they're already getting with other people, then what's the point of being tied together? Maybe, I don't know. Is it money? I don't know. Is it the idea that, well, we got these kids together, so we need to look like we're together, even if it's just on paper? I don't know. Okay. But people gonna do what they gonna do. I'm just trying to outline the difference between business and marriage, and why I believe Will Smith is far more effective in one rather than another. As I said, business values discipline and consistency, But love always changes because it's driven by emotions. Even when y'all saw Jada at that red table talk, one of the first things that she said was, it's been such a long time since I felt so good. You know, when I was with August Alsina, I just felt good. And I'm like, damn, how you saying this and your husband is right across the table with you? Like, they on some other stuff. What they do, I could never do that. But that's the reason why I'm telling y'all, just because you're making money, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a successful relationship. I mean, damn, look at Will Smith. How many of us will be wealthier, taller, more fit, more successful in our industry than this brother is? And look at how he's getting dragged by his wife. Look at Jeff Bezos, dude is the richest man in the world, filed for divorce. Look at Dr. Dre. His wife is trying to walk away with $500 million. So I need y'all brothers to stop thinking that just because you're getting to the money, I could just take any woman I want and she's going to satisfy me, because the money is not going to keep the relationship together. If that was the case, none of these billionaires would be filing for divorce. Now, let's talk about some of the things that I think that Will does right in business. I think that Will, he does a good job at relying on the fundamentals. When you see some of his motivational videos, he'll talk about timeless principles that are effective in any industry. When we talk business, Will focuses on the fundamentals, but then when he gets into marriage, they're trying to reinvent the wheel. So there's already a formula that's laid out on how to have a successful marriage. But Will and Jada, they're trying some stuff that is totally different from the norm. So when we talk about Will's success professionally, he's going to give you a set of steps that he would recommend to anybody who wants to be successful. But then when he talks about his marriage, he says that he would not suggest his approach for anybody. That is one of the clearest differences between the two. In one side of things, you have proven formulas that when applied is going to get you results. Then you got another side over here where you're just experimenting with something. You haven't even grown up seeing the things that you're doing on this other side. But because you're trying to reinvent the wheel, that's the reason why the success doesn't carry over the same way that it does for somebody else. I want y'all to understand, everything in this universe has a law of physics. What I mean by that is everything in this world is governed by a set of principles that can help anybody get ahead. When you apply the same principles of business that Will Smith does, you may not end up being Will Smith level, but you will end up being more successful than you are today. So if Will Smith says you have to have discipline, if you add discipline to your life, you are guaranteed to be more successful with discipline than you are without it. Facts. If you apply what Will Smith talks about when he tells you to put in your 10,000 hours, if you put in 10,000 hours towards anything in any area of your industry and your craft, you're bound to get more successful with 10,000 hours than you will with nothing. So what I'm trying to show y'all is a lot of people be thinking that it's them that gets successful, but it's just their application of principles. Y'all really don't hear what I'm saying, but I always try to put these nuggets out all for free. Like some of the things that I be kicking to y'all, even on shows like this, where y'all think we just ain't doing nothing but just talking trash. I'm really putting in the gems as we're talking about like real life stuff. I'm telling you, one of the biggest mistakes that you can ever make is to convince yourself to think that you are successful rather than your application of principles. Uzziah is only successful in business if Uzziah applies the principles of business success. If Uzziah doesn't apply the principles of success, he will not be successful. But a lot of y'all be feeling yourself so much to think, oh man, anything that I do is going to take off. Anything that I touch is going to turn to gold. This world doesn't work like that. So the sooner that you can disconnect yourself from your practices, the more likely you can be successful in any field. And I think that if Will would have been coached on that prior to getting into marriage, I think that he would have had a totally different outcome, because I think that somebody could have told him, if he was willing to hear it, Will, just because you're that dude, it doesn't mean that you're going to be that dude in marriage by not applying these same principles. You're only that dude in this industry because you apply the principles. You have to identify the principles in every industry that you're in order to play the game effectively. You cannot win the game if you don't understand the rules. This is one of the biggest messages that I try to really educate my people. Okay, let's look at these comments. Let's look at these comments real quick. Shout out to Anika Davidson. Happy to see a new face in the house commenting. She said, I was just thinking about this today. Being successful in business is one thing, but success in your personal life is a whole other beast. Big facts. Big facts. And a lot of you guys really need to choose up front which one is going to get more weight and more energy. Okay, can I give you all a secret? I'm gonna start putting some of this stuff on. I'm telling y'all, Patreon is coming. But for right now, I'm gonna put the game here. If you're going to be exceptional, world class, a top performer, you need to identify as quickly as possible where you're going to put the majority of your energy. The reason why so many people get average results is because they're always looking for a certain sense of balance across everything equally. I was trying to look for a different word because my sister just said in the comment, I'm looking for someone with a good balance of both, as I am working on that myself. But let me tell you what I mean without kind of going up against this comment. What I mean is, so many people, talented people, intelligent people, hardworking individuals, they end up getting average results in life because they try to do everything equally. They try to have a work-life balance. They try to put the same level of effort into things across the board. And when you do that, you don't end up being exceptional at anything. When you look at a lot of exceptional performing people, they will go all in on one thing, but they will build a support system around them that supports that. So I'll give an example. Okay, look at Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. When you read the story about him and his wife, she was dedicated to taking care of the family while he focused on winning championships. She was supportive towards his progress by telling him, you don't have to be so focused on always being at the house. Now, a lot of us will find ourselves going through life where we'll be guilty about not spending enough time with family and not spending enough time with friends. So we'll take away a lot of the time and investment towards our career paths as brothers. And then we wonder why we don't end up landing the six-figure position. We wonder why our businesses are not competitive. But you can never compete successfully against anybody in the marketplace who's working on this thing from night and day. Okay, let me give you all a prime example. I'm doing this show on YouTube 6 days a week. If somebody else looks at me and says, oh, well, you know what? I want to have a black show too, but they're only dedicated to doing it once a month. Do you really think that that person is going to be competitive starting from nothing? If they say, well, I want to do a little bit of this and I want to do a little bit of that and a little bit of that, they're only going to end up getting average results. Because how can you be successful when you're going out into a world that is so competitive that whatever it is that you're trying to do, somebody is spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week obsessing about that one thing? If you want to get in Hollywood, there are people all around the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week focusing on that thing. If you're trying to get in sports, somebody is trying to train 24 hours a day, 7 days a week towards that arena. I'm not telling y'all to not have a sense of balance, kind of going into Anika's point. What I'm saying is, you, you have to, if you guys are trying to seek success, I'm assuming that's the reason why y'all come to my channel. If you're trying to seek success, you have to change the paradigm on how you look at it. My wife doesn't expect me to be under her for half the day. She expects me to give 100% at what I do, knowing that my efforts towards this is my contribution to our family. But if you don't have a partner that just even looks at things like that, you're already at a disadvantage. You're already going to be behind the 8 ball. Do y'all really understand what I'm saying? I need some comments from y'all. What I'm telling y'all is you can have the relationship. You can have nice things outside of your number one area of focus. But what I'm saying is there's a big difference between going through life saying, hey, I'm looking to have everything that I want and just balance my energy across the board. Most people do that. Whereas when you look at people like a Michael Jordan, they'll say, hey, this is what I do well. I'm striving for world class. And then you build a team around that where everybody wins. Okay. Now, two is possible. Both people are still going to have relationships. Both people are going to have nice things, but one person's results is going to look totally different from another's. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm trying to tell y'all in so many words is high performers truly understand there is no such thing as work-life balance. The people that advocate for work-life balance are the same people who are talking about how they hate their jobs, how they wish they were making passive streams of income, how they wish they were their own boss. But then when you look at the people who actually have that, look at how many hours they've dedicated into their craft. You got to build a team to support the process. Okay. So I want y'all to see this. Will brought discipline and consistency to business, but love is driven by emotions. Business logic, romance, emotions. Emotions is fleeting. Logic is consistent. Will in business relied upon fundamental principles. When he then stepped into a marriage, he threw all the fundamentals out the window. They're trying some whole new stuff that Will ain't never even seen. That's why he's telling y'all now he would not suggest his approach to marriage to anyone. We have to understand that every industry, it has its own law of physics. And whenever y'all try to step outside of the law of physics in anything, there's a good chance that you're going to suffer and fail. Let me give an example of what I mean in business. One of the laws of physics in business is that you have to solve problems. If you are not solving other people's problems, it is going to be much harder for you to make it. So, to give a basic example, I had to pay a plumber $500 earlier today for what was like a 30-minute job. He solved my problem. He's able to get paid because he's a problem solver. I would not pay somebody else $500 if all they're doing is talking, but they're not producing any results. So when we talk about problem solving, that's just one of the laws of physics in business. If you are not going into the marketplace with a high attention towards helping other people, there's already a good chance that no matter how hard you work, you're not going to make it. You got to put in the hours. There's so many people that say, oh man, I want to make all this money and I just want to chill on the beach. That goes against the laws of physics because the way that God designed this planet is by the sweat of your brow, you will eat bread. Y'all biblical folks, y'all know what I'm saying. The way that God has designed this planet is you have to work. A laborer is worthy of his hire. But a lot of us, we're trying to reinvent the wheel and figure out how we never work at all, but you get the same financial outcomes as somebody that's putting in 60 to 80 hours of work in a week. It just doesn't happen, y'all. Even when we're talking about creating passive income streams, I tell y'all, you still have to have that stream be active for a period of time before it's converted into passive. But a lot of our people, man, we don't want to put in the work. We want to get something out of nothing. And then we wonder why we will have different outcomes from the people that are on top. Look at what Yasha Allah says. He says, I feel you. When I was married, always complaining and not spending time with them about you working, but they're living in a big house, nice car, and food on the table. I'm not the cuddle guy. Listen, sisters, I hope y'all are hearing this. Success leaves clues. I think one of the biggest challenge for a lot of our sisters right now is understanding what comes with the position of being the wife to a top performing man. I think a lot of sisters love the idea of the lifestyle that they perceive from being with a guy that just, is on top of his game and is making all this money. But trust me, when you are with a top performing man, you're going to have to work for that. That's going to be a much more demanding job than just being with the average brother. But a lot of times we try to reinvent the wheel to say, well, how can I be in this larger than life relationship? But how do I do nothing in the process? How do I change nothing about myself? To whom much is given, much is required. So if you want a great marriage, you're going to have to put in more energy. If you want a great business, you're going to have to put in more energy. Okay. And I want you to see what Rick Ann says. Shout out to Rick Ann. You have to make sacrifices to become the best. These are facts. And that's why I keep telling y'all, you need to be very focused on what your number one area of success is, and then build your team around you to support that process. So you need to find out what works in every industry, and you need to master those laws of physics. Now, let me talk about something else. I think when Will is in the industry, he's in high demand for his roles. Unfortunately, I don't think that he was in high demand from Jada. Every time you get Jada to talking, she's always talking about Tupac. So even when you look at their relationship in general, Will always talk about how he always felt insecure up against her love for Tupac. So you got to play the game, the right way when you're operating in every industry. I think the reason why Will is successful in business is because he understands that you have to position yourself to be a guy that's in high demand. I think that when he deals in his relationship, he kind of has this pathology that I gotta prove myself and I gotta please somebody else and just hope that the other person will eventually like me on the other side. I don't think that he should have ever been in competition with Tupac at all. I think that with him being as successful as a brother he is professionally, I definitely think that he could have found him a sister that would have gotten behind him and supported him on all things that would have lived out that traditional life that he wanted to live. I think that he did a disservice to himself and his family whenever he put himself in a position where he stepped away from those principles. So Will Smith is wise enough to know that in Hollywood, hey, when you work hard, you get to write your own check. You don't settle for less. You're in high demand. Well, why not apply that same principle in relationships? And a lot of you guys now, you will put yourself in positions where you will settle for something. But if you've positioned yourself and done the work, why wouldn't you go for the very best? Why wouldn't you align yourself with people that will celebrate you for the value that you bring? All right. So, for those of y'all that are just now joining, today we're talking about why Will Smith is successful in business, but not in love. If y'all are loving this show, please do me a favor and smash that like button. This will tell YouTube to send this message out to more people. I definitely think that this is something that all of our people need to hear, because if we don't have an awareness of these principles, I think that a lot of us could end up making the same mistake. If y'all love the energy that goes into this channel and how we try to improve our community, please do me a favor and give a super chat. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below. All right. It's been over 30 minutes since somebody brought forth a donation. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon, or you could Cash App or PayPal me. The links are in the description below. Now, LA for Life said, ladies, kill your loneliness problem. If a woman can wait for a man sitting in jail for 10 years, then she can wait to spend time with a man who's working to provide for his family. Those are facts. And I think that one thing that a lot of us struggle with is that loneliness factor. Like, I think that even Will, in some of the interviews that he's had, even with his psychiatrist, he's talked about some of the insecurities that he's had, even in feelings of being lonely. A lot of brothers, you mess yourself up because you're not comfortable being by yourself. Be by yourself and focus on your grind. Focus on your grind, and the women will follow. But when they follow, don't just get any woman with a pretty face. You need to make sure that her mission is your mission. You set the standard. You need to make sure that you have a set of values that she can align with, rather than you just getting with her to bust a nut. I'm sorry I had to put it out there. A lot of us as brothers, we get so caught up in just wanting to get our rocks off that we tend to overlook a lot of things. I speak from personal experience in times past. My marriage, honestly, was the very first time that I started looking at other factors outside of the bedroom. I got my brother Yasha Allah in the house. Before I cue you up, Yasha Allah, I first want to address Anika Davidson's comment. I'm so happy that the sister is chiming in. She says, for me, it's not about the things. I was talking about the fact that some people have lots of wealth, but they have very few real friends and healthy relationships in their personal lives. Absolutely. And this is the reason why I was telling y'all at the beginning of the show that everybody is good at different things naturally. That's why we have to have an awareness of our natural strengths. Some people in this life are very good at making money, but some people are very poor at relationships. Some people are good at saving money. Some people are good at spending money. Some people, they know how to make relationships with people, but they're not very good when it comes to their profession. So everybody needs to be very clear with where they are naturally, because the goal is for you to really double down on your natural strengths and try to step away from your weak points as much as possible. This goes right in line with what I was saying on this about how people will have different gifts, because some people are so poor all they have is money. Some people, all they have to their name is a dollar, but they don't have anybody to spend the money with. And so really, really interesting subject. Yashala, what you got on this?
Yeah, shalom, big brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. For those of y'all that are just now joining, make sure that y'all comment. I want to get y'all's feedback on this. Do y'all think that Will Smith is more successful in business or marriage? Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the subject. And if you want, feel free to cam up. I'm going to put the link in the comments below. What's going on, Yashala?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. But yeah, in business, he's very successful. Marriage, no, he's not. He knows how to use the media. He's learned that from somebody, taught him very well. Because I saw part of the video, that red table. He held it in. He was pissed. I
Right,
watched this whole thing that I picked that he was pissed, but he held it in. He
right,
uses the media. And sooner or later, he'll get tired. When his time is up, he'll know my time is up. I can't make any more money. Now I'll
right,
move on and you move on. But right now, he's going to keep, like you said earlier, all that family money together right now and
right,
use, even her, use that to his advantage. That's all he's doing. That's his business structure. You know what I mean? But me, in my mind, once you cross that line, I'm thinking fellatio, and I can't kiss you, I can't hug you. I'm sorry, that's just not the picture. I mean, and if us being the truth, we can't take you back anyway. But
right.
before that, nah. I'm like, I don't kiss my mama. That tells you right there. I'm sorry. People are just, you know how people are today. But I'm not a cuddle guy. I'm not a cuddle guy. I never was a cuddle guy. I'm out here getting my grind in
Right.
the rain, in the snow, in the heat. But they complain about you not spending time with me. But you in a big house,
Right.
you drive a nice car,
Hmm.
kids got clothes on their back, you got plenty of food on the table, you got money in your pocket, you're getting your hair done, you're getting your nails done. That doesn't come free.
Right. What more do you want?
Right. And I'm driving out in California. Oh, the water pipe busted. What you want me to do? Get it fixed. You got the credit card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to cuddle while I'm sleep at night. You know what I mean? I had that growing up. The kids, they was always on me when I come home. They don't see your kids come in. I got girls. They're always in bed with me. Everybody feet here, feet there, feet in the back. Listen, I don't want to cuddle them. Once they got grown, no thank you. You know what I'm saying? But they think that it's free. It's not free. It's
Right.
not.
Right. And I'm so happy that you said that, Yasha Allah, because one of the things that I always talk about on this channel is how freedom ain't free. A lot of us, and you would think that us as black people would know that the most out of anybody else, because for the bits of freedom that we do have, our people have had to work very hard for it. And so what I'm saying is that, whenever we think about these concepts of relationships, we tend to think that there's not going to be a trade-off. We tend to think that there's not going to be a sacrifice. We always convince ourselves that, oh man, we're going to have everything that we want, but there's not going to be things that we'll have to do in order to get it. Maybe we can't have it all. Maybe, okay, if we're going to have this, it's going to come at the expense of that. If we're going to have that, it's going to come at the cost of another thing. Like, y'all really gotta, and I keep saying, if you want to have a world-class life. See, I really need y'all to understand this thing. To get the results that only 5% of people have, you have to do the things that only 5% of people do. If you follow based upon the patterns of everybody else, the 95% in this world, you're going to get their results. 95% of people don't have enough savings. 95% of people are not financially independent. 95% of people, once they get to the age of retirement, will still have to work because they don't have enough money to take care of them in their life. And so I think that this is such an important discussion, Yasha Allah, because when we talk about being successful from a professional worldly aspect, I think we also have to talk about what does that look like in our relationships, right? And so I'm glad that you're saying what you're saying. You got anything else for us?
Yeah, that's why I'm divorced, because I said, listen, I can't go through that. I'm working. I got, because people understand, in 2000, how many people had internet in 2000? I had to learn everything with this and my driving skills and what I didn't know. There was no such thing as college for me. When out at my age, people don't understand. Ask back. There was no grants and loans back then, especially for us. That was out the picture. You went to football, basketball, you were out of luck for college. That's the way it was. And people don't see that in 1980s and early 90s. No. You had a few choices. So when you're working, they like, I picked a field, got a good trade. I'm trying to provide for my family. Let me provide for my family. That's it. Just do what I ask you to do. Do what you're supposed to do. I'm not overbearing. Right. You know what I mean? But I don't want you in the street either now. You know what I'm saying? If we married. But now I know this truth. And with you, I found out that we got to be on the same page. If we on the same page, it ain't going to work. It's just not going to happen. I'm trying to get to the grind.
That's what it is when you talk about being on the same page. And that's what I'm trying to stress to y'all on this show. Like, okay, I see Anika's comment. She says, they are lonely and actually sad. I see everyone's point, but I do believe both wealth and healthy relationships are possible. I agree. And I'm living proof of that on some level. For those of y'all that know me, you know, when I was 23 years old, I paid off $95,000 in student loans. From that point, I went on to become a real estate investor, a best-selling author, an entrepreneur, a church leader. You know, I'm not the wealthiest man in the world, but I ain't the brokest neither. Financially, I'm in the top 10% of wealthiest 30-year-olds in the world. But I'm only able to have both because I'm in a healthy relationship with someone who is on the same page. That's what I'm trying to highlight in a difference between Will and Jada. See, when I'm talking about Will and Jada, I'm saying they went into a marriage not being on the same page. Will is looking at a traditional marriage. Jada wants everything to be totally unconventional. I get into a marriage and, hey, I want to serve the Most High. You want to serve the Most High. I want a marriage that's progressive and about building legacy. You want a marriage that's successful and about building legacy. And I do believe that one of the reasons why I've been blessed with both is because I've aligned myself with someone who has been on the same page in pursuit of the same goal. But I do think that one of the things that worked in my favor is that when I chose my choice of spouse, she already had a very solid upbringing from both of her parents. You know, I can't speak a lot on what Jada's upbringing looked like because I don't know a lot about the situation with her father. But I do know that one of the reasons why I was blessed to be able to have, you know, a certain level of wealth along with the healthy relationship currently is because my wife, she already saw what a hardworking man looked like through her father before we ever met. So quite naturally, his example set the foundation for her to look for a guy like myself. He made a career in sales. I have a business in sales. He put in a certain amount of hours traveling. I put in a certain amount of hours traveling. You see, when you choose right, that's just the thing right there, y'all. Choose right. You can have both, but you've got to choose right, because you can't build both from scratch. If you become a business owner, you got to already have a spouse that's already coming to the table with a certain mindset that is complementary to what it is that you're trying to build. Even if you've already built it before they got on board, you got to have somebody who's equipped to maintain what's already established. So hey, I gotta get ready to hop up out of here, man. Y'all know it's getting late on my end. I like to get out of here before I enjoy my Friday nights. So thank you so much for chiming in, my brother. We need to part two on this discussion. Thank you so much for hopping in.
You're welcome.
All right now. So I want to look at Rick Ann's question. He says, how do we keep an active dating life while on our grind? I think that's part of the problem right there. I think a part of it, okay. For those of y'all that watched my show that I did in times past, I'm a big proponent of most men staying single, working their way to making $10,000 per month. The reason why I don't recommend trying to do both hand in hand is because both require time and money. You try to start your business, that's going to require time and money. You're out here trying to find a spouse, that's going to require time and money. You need to already lay your foundation as a man before trying to onboard somebody into the equation. I personally recommend, and I'm telling y'all this, even though I myself got married at 23 and a relationship has been successful. Even in my marriage, I recommend that for most men, you really get yourself to a level of focusing on your process, just like Will Smith did before he met Jada. Build yourself up to the best version of yourself. Start putting yourself in a strong financial position, because if you have not molded yourself into your best version, you don't even know what caliber of woman you can get. If okay, what I'm saying is, if right now as a guy you're a 5 in terms of value, there's no way you're going to get a 10 level woman. What I'm encouraging is that you build yourself up to a 10 level man, so that way you have a much uh wider array of options at your disposal from 10 level women and beyond. Okay, so thank y'all so much for all of the comments. I'm about to jet, but y'all know, as with every episode, I give y'all these 2 free stocks. So for those of y'all that want to become investors so that you can become the very best version of yourself, then make sure that you check out these 2 free stocks that is sponsored by Webull. Webull is the sponsor of the Uzziah Show. It is one of the fastest growing financial brokerage companies in the world. On Webull, you can invest in not only stocks, but also cryptocurrency. So if you want to get in the investment game, then please tap the link in the comments below. Now, for those of y'all that have just watched this show for the very first time, I generally get on here 6 days a week, from Sunday all the way through Friday at 7 p.m. Central. Mark your calendars and make sure that you tell a friend. Okay, I'm about to get up out of here. For those of y'all that like to hear the word of God, I have another channel called True Spirit of Christ, where I lead a congregation, and at 9 p.m. tonight, I'll be giving a word there. Okay, your boy stays busy. I stay focused. So tonight, y'all, just to recap what we went over for those of y'all that are just now joining, we talked about why Will Smith is successful in business but not in love. We talked about how relationships and business are 2 different things, and you have to understand the laws of physics behind both. Okay, just Go back and watch a little bit earlier of the show in both of these things. One thing that I always said is just because you're successful in one area doesn't guarantee that you'll be successful in another. I think the reason why Will Smith became so successful and has maintained success professionally is because he leveraged fundamentals rather than him just starting some new age stuff where he started from the ground up. When you stick to the fundamentals, you're able to stand on the shoulders of giants. You're able to apply the learnings from men that have been here for thousands of years before you. So you already have a head start. Whenever you start anything in life where you're trying to reinvent the wheel, you're always going to take a loss. That's why Will suggests his success principles to anybody that wants to be successful, but he does not suggest his marriage strategy for everybody that's looking for a marriage. I think that if you apply the principles that work in any facet of life, you can be more successful than you are today. So don't always try to over innovate. Stick to what works, double down on it, and then y'all can see some success. Listen, y'all, if y'all love this show, I need your support, y'all. Please support Black-owned businesses. All you got to do is give a super chat, tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Your donations goes a really long way. Shout out to Native Arain for the $50 super chat. Shout out to Yasha Allah for the $20 super chat. Even if you want to donate after the live broadcast is over, you can feel free to do so by giving your donation via Cash App as well as PayPal. The information is on the screen to donate, and the links are in the description below. I love y'all. Please make sure that y'all subscribe to this channel. All right. Y'all have a very blessed weekend, and I will see y'all again this Sunday at 7 p.m.